So I was sitting in the window right here, and I looked out of the window. I'd heard gunshots, and there was a shooter right there behind my red car, shooting a pistol into this street. And I couldn't see the whole corner or anything, so I wasn't sure what he was shooting at. But within seconds, there were like 50 cops in this corner trying to figure out what's going on. So. As a human, you have to figure out how to process these things and move on, but at the same time, like, this was so uncommon for this neighborhood that it will definitely stand out. So it's unusual in that sense, so I think that I'll be thinking about it for a long time. I actually had video. I started recording video on my phone of what was happening, and I ended up just deleting it because I couldn't. Okay. I really felt like it was something that I didn't want to see. Yeah.
I know that when it comes around holidays where you light up fireworks, some people take this as an opportunity to do shootings, to disguise their gunshots as fireworks. So, you know, usually sometimes it is quite quiet around here, but then sometimes when firework holidays come around, they use that as a tendency to shoot out.
A guy with a long gun.
Alright, all units use caution. We got somebody with a long gun. 5432 Jackson. 5432 Jackson.
We have two vehicles at juvenile.
Kneel down.
Our officers were able to apprehend the male in the rear alley of 1600 Fraser Street. And when they did, this male was wearing a bulletproof vest with multiple magazines in the vest. He also had a scanner and an AR-style rifle and a handgun.
This country needs to re-examine its conscience and find out how to get guns out of dangerous people's hands. A person walking down a city street with an AR-style rifle and shooting randomly at people while wearing a bulletproof vest with multiple magazines is a disgraceful but all too common situation in America. And I was today at Independence Hall, where they wrote that Constitution, and the Second Amendment was never intended to protect this.
An unimaginably difficult time. Everyone you see here today and not here in this. At this time, I want to emphasize that we currently have no reason to believe that there are additional suspects or an ongoing threat to the community as it relates to this incident. We're confident that we have the individual responsible in custody. However, we do ask for your continued patience and cooperation, as I mentioned before, as we meticulously piece together the events leading up to this heinous act.
All right, based on our witnesses, interviews, and recovered video, the suspect, while wearing body armor, a ski mask, and holding a AR-15 assault rifle, was observed at several locations near 56th Street, near Chester Avenue and Springfield Avenue. The suspect then began shooting aimlessly at occupied vehicles and individuals on the street as they walked.
And support all the comments that you have heard from the mayor, police commissioner, and the more specific. It is disgusting that you can go to New Jersey and find a whole list of reasonable gun regulation that we don't have, that you can go to Delaware and there's almost as long a list of reasonable gun legislation that we don't have. Some of that legislation might have made a difference here.
But Congress needs to step up, pass common sense gun safety laws.
On one of America's biggest holidays, gun control was in focus after a spate of mass shootings over the 4th of July weekend.
Banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, extensive background checks, they're part of the answer. They'll make a big difference.
President Joe Biden repeated his calls to tighten gun laws during a speech to educators, as the White House on Tuesday called gun violence an epidemic. Mass shootings in Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Fort Worth claimed the lives of 10 people ahead of the holiday, marking yet another Independence Day marred by violence, and a grim reminder of the decades-long failure to curb gun violence in the United States. Fort Worth's mass shooting happened after a local festival just before midnight on Monday. Earlier in the evening, a man opened fire on apparent strangers in Philadelphia. And on Sunday, a hail of gunfire in Baltimore at an outdoor neighborhood block party, where half of the injured were children. There have been over 340 mass shootings in the U.S. so far in 2023, according to data collected by the Gun Violence Archive. Republican lawmakers have continuously blocked Biden's attempts to significantly reform gun safety laws and his push to reinstate a ban on assault weapons. All this comes just 1 year after the Highland Park massacre, which hundreds gathered on Tuesday to commemorate. A man fired into an Independence Day parade crowd in the Chicago suburb, killing 7 people and injuring dozens more.